No, it's not fair to do it to a guy.
I know.
For guys to have it, it is not fair. Because my wife is just like, what the actual hell, you know?
So
thank you. I almost dropped an F-bomb. Jackson told me we were live, so
yeah.
I can't, I didn't want to use it.
Yeah, don't use that
early. Yeah.
Yeah, David was saying he dropped 7 pounds in a week from like coming back from Kansas and like just switching to a reasonable diet and not alcohol.
Oh my God,
that's interesting.
Yeah, he just pooped it all out. Dr. Dave.
I'm gonna just end up being like I'm gonna be like Cheech and Chong. I'll just turn into a big weed head.
Yeah, right.
Hey man, let's go do a crit. Hey, before we begin, you know what's up. All links are at packfiller.com. Puck Sports, people. God, my notes are thick tonight. And it's not even on cardstock. Where was I? Oh, Puck Sports. Style, comfort, fit, safety, all packaged in the great individuality that Puck has brought to the sport. If you get it, you get it. We're divided here at the Packfiller on brands. We are. And we'll get to that here shortly. Style, fit, and all sorts. But trust me, you can't go wrong with Puck. Check them out at Packfiller Link. And tell them we sent ya. I actually wrote, tell them we sent ya. I sound like a car dealer. Athletic Brewing, people, are you doing it? Are you going dry for January? We were just talking about that before I started this. Or how about just prepping for the 2023 season? You know you need to keep the calories in check, but you like flavor. That's where Athletic comes in. Great tasting, non-alcoholic brews with at or around 70 calories per can. Read your copy pad. Get to the Athletic through the Packfiller link. You can do it. Untapped maple, people. Great flavor, great fuel, great products based on pure Vermont maple syrup. If you haven't tried it, you're missing out on small, easily digestible packets, waffles for just about any time. Even ginger maple aid. Wait, hold on. Okay, staying in the plane right there. I'm just making sure. Oh no, I was just looking ahead to see. Is like, did I print off last week's fucking show? I swore once. That's one.
Count it. Wait, did you set how many?
3. It's 3 from now on.
That's good. That's a reasonable amount.
I don't want to stray people away. But I just want to keep it raw.
Yeah.
Keep it real, bro. Yeah. Although Paul dropped a couple last week.
Yeah, he did.
He dropped at least 2.
Yeah.
So that ups the ante. So when other people drop one, should I remove one from my tally? Do we only allow 3 for the show? That's tough. That's tough.
That's where we need to get to. But I think that where we're at now is...
We don't want to be PG-13.
No. That's not what this is about.
F that. That doesn't count,
that, bro.
Doesn't count. All right, you can tell me, your good old Uncle Pat. Have you made it yet? Have you made it this far? Talk to me, Uncle, out there. Have the temptations just been too much? Have you broken your New Year's promises already? Thought so. You were always weak. Nah, just kidding. Here's to hoping you're sticking to the plan for 2023. Resolutions or not, we're right here with you. Welcome to Life on Two Wheels. Welcome to the Packfiller. I'm Pat Bulger, and we're a man down. Oh, don't cry. The jackass is in super warm climates for a full week. More on that later. We can laugh at the fact that he's probably still on an airplane right now.
Yeah.
Not flying Southwest, but he's trapped.
Yeah.
Let's get to the job at hand. Let's see who's actually here. Well, if you're with us on the live YouTube stream, you already know who's with us. But for the sake of tradition, let's ask the panel the question. When I introduce you, gentlemen, please respond to the following. What is the most embarrassing thing you have ever worn? And we can go with cycling if you want, because if you're like me, you've been through enough traditions, like the zinc oxide mode when we were wearing colored zinc oxide on our noses because it was cool in a bike race. Colored zinc oxide. It was really stupid. I had like pink, I had blue, I had all that kind of stuff. But that's not mine. So first off, my Ed McMahon isn't here. That's right. Paul Main has left his station to flee for fair weather. Paul's in Palm Desert or Palm Beach, which...
Palm Desert.
Palm Desert.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yep.
Likely picking out a condo to retire in. That's an old man joke.
I do think that could be a case for him.
Yeah. He's down there, all the people walking around with sandals and socks.
Oh, yeah.
Going to dinner at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Paul's meant to do that, man. It's just, he's not here to defend himself. So. And I'm now the oldest person in the room. So let's move on. He's the guy who wouldn't have had a proper answer to the "What's your favorite cheese?" question because he likely doesn't eat cheese, Mr. Sam Waple. Do you eat cheese?
Not wrong.
Are you
No,
cheese free too, or do you eat
no.
that bullshit fake stuff?
Yeah.
Oh!
But no, like I will eat. This is why I'm a choicitarian. Like every once in a while, if somebody like were to make a tray of nachos with some real cheese, I'll devour that.
Really? Does it bother you? Do you get stomach aches or anything?
Oh, horrible!
You
Like
do?
knife
Yeah.
going through the stomach. Like that's the one thing is being vegan wasn't hard because like it couldn't handle like dairy anyway.
Yeah.
So I just had to give up meat. But then I went back to dairy because that's dumb to give up dairy. Fight through it, bro.
Just
Fight through.
just like shit through a goose.
Yep.
Yeah. What's the most embarrassing thing you've ever worn?
I'm gonna stick to cycling.
Okay.
And yeah, I think tall socks, like the
Like the
the
compressions?
compression
Yeah,
to the
those are
knee.
Those
That
are
was
bad.
bad.
They are bad, and I still see people.
I feel
wear it.
just horrible knowing that I did that.
right.
Yeah,
And then do you judge when you
I
see
do
others?
because
Yeah,
it's stupid.
I do too.
Like,
too.
and knowing more about the field now, I'll get sciencey for a moment here, right?
Yeah,
Like,
this is a guy who 2 weeks ago was
Yes.
taking a cold shower.
Yeah.
yes,
So, yeah,
exactly, exactly. And now I'm all into the science of it. So let's get sciencey about it. And like, you wear the compression socks, and I understand people that don't move and just sit at a desk all day, right?
Sure.
It helps with blood flow.
Yeah.
Well, on a bike, you're activating the muscles that are your pumps below
Yeah.
the waist.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't need those when you're riding a bike. It's the stupidest thing in the world. There's actually no reason to wear those on a bike
Yeah, I mean, I can understand.
or exercising.
Triathletes
period.
wearing them because of running.
No, but running, you're
pounding?
still running. You're
Really?
still activating gastroc soleus, so the primary pumps below the waist, and then you get quads and hamstrings. But like, they actually pumps the blood back up. So it's like it's totally stupid to wear.
See, because I didn't know that. Because there was a time when I would wear the compression sleeve because I had a calf muscle that would pull, it would yank, and so
Yeah.
I kept it on there to kind of keep everything like almost like
So
an
there
ace
could
bandage.
be like some warrant for like doing it. I don't know, man. I'd have to look at
Just
it.
don't, right?
Just don't.
Yeah.
But like for blood flow and stuff, which is what I was doing it for.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
This was supposed to be. Should I read your brother's?
Oh, yeah.
Greeting, because he's the newbie to the show, but that doesn't mean we can't be cruel. He's the only person on the panel who survived a vehicular attack by the one and only Q himself. Mr. David Waples was supposed to be here,
Yeah.
because he was attacked by Q.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
I didn't want him to give him PTSD.
No,
when I was just
you
like,
won't.
Yeah.
He's in a healthy place.
Complete redneck asshole.
Yep.
Ran you over.
Yeah,
So
God.
But he's not here, so Dave's not here. So
No. In the
Screw you,
future,
man.
we'll get Dr. Dave.
next, and I mean this as a compliment, he's the silent assassin of the Packfiller.
No.
I almost can
I'm
stray away from
excited
Nightwing.
and nervous
Yeah.
for this spring. Because he's going to bust out like 1,200 watts.
Yeah,
I've got
exactly.
I've got a picture on my phone, but it's only going to you guys. So I didn't send it because I feel weird about it. It's something from my
Bragging.
training. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
humble
have
brag.
okay. How many?
Well, it's
Is it above or is it below 1,000?
above.
God, I don't want to know. Don't make me feel that bad, Jackson.
Yeah. You can look on Strava if
It's
you're
above
really
what?
curious.
Above what?
It's above 1,000.
Shoot.
Wait, remember? Fudge. Remember when I did that?
Mother fudger.
Oh.
Wow. I
That's
can
good.
hit 1,100, but that's my sprint. That is
Yeah.
like flat out sprint, and I can probably only do it for about 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw Freddie Ove from Blegion today.
Yeah.
I saw him do a Zwift sprint, and he was like holding like 1,200.
That's stupid.
I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ran for probably like a good 15 to 30 seconds.
Yeah. It was like
You
a
know,
long
'cause
sprint.
It's a long lead out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah.
Jackson, what's the most embarrassing thing you've ever worn? You don't have to be cycling if you don't want to.
Clothing wise, I regret none of my
Style.
of what I personally wear.
Very trendy.
Thanks.
He's very trendy, but as his father, I could be like, but
But everybody
he
else
rocks
thinks
it.
I look
Thinks
I look great.
The hat that made you look like the dude from Home Alone. The little beanie hat. The little winter beanie hat.
I'm
Made
not
you
the
look
only
like-
one.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I think
I'm wrong.
ankle length socks
Oh yeah.
are the
Like,
thing.
Ankle length.
Are the thing that I look back now and I'm like, that looks pretty bad.
yeah, like below the ankle, like just like
Yeah.
that
Oh, the
basic-
no-seams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Or like even the above the ankle bone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but just barely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Those-
what cycling socks were for
Yeah,
so
I know,
long.
for a long time.
And I'm really happy they're not anymore because I think we look a lot better with like calf
Calf.
length socks.
yeah.
I wore a lot of those. I wore a lot of those ankle length
You've
ones.
done everything.
Well, I started in the
Been around for a while.
80s,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So I'm just embarrassed now. I'm apparently the unapproachable one in the show.
agree.
After we found that out last week, that
Yep.
people come up to you and talk to you about the show all the time. Nobody talks to me.
Yeah.
And Paul's lying. I do not hide from Paul in the grocery store. Maybe I don't make eye contact with people, but I don't hide. But don't come up and
Oh,
talk
when
to me.
in a grocery store, I am just like,
Yeah. I'm
also you get like
my
patients
stuff,
that come up
man.
to you.
Yeah.
Students.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
personal time.
Yeah,
Students
that's
look
a
at me.
personal
Students
time.
look at me like I'm on crack because they're like, "What are you doing here?
Yeah,
You don't ever leave the classroom. When we're done at the end of the day, you just power down and go into the corner, right?" And that's what it is.
Preschoolers genuinely think that though.
Yeah,
They're like, "Where's your room? Like, do you
Yeah.
live here?"
yeah.
No.
And if they see you, like I've been up skiing and they've seen me with a beer in my hand, they're like, "Oh my god, it's bad out of the beer! Oh my god, it's freaking alcohol!" You should see me with my bourbon. Come here, kid. I'll show you something. The most embarrassing thing I ever worn. It could be a long list. Flare jeans. I was born and raised in the 70s. You know, I was born in '69, so the '70s.
Bust
I wore
out the
flare
photo.
jeans.
I need that.
You shouldn't be ashamed of that.
Well,
That's
and-
a time.
You should
you
be.
know?
Well, I am ashamed of the fact that I was so pigeon-toed that when I would run in my flare jeans, my foot would get caught in the pant leg and I would fall.
You were that pigeon.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
you wore that flared of jeans?
Yeah, oh god, yeah. They were San Francisco riding gears, or Hash was the other brand. Hash. Yeah, they were super flare. A down jacket. I wore a down jacket as a kid, and that's not bad because we're all wearing down jackets now. But mine was worse because there was a hole in the back of it, and my mom put a Campfire Girl sticker on it, and it sent me to grade school. Basically with a bullseye in the center of my jacket. It's like going, punch here.
Make fun of this guy.
Yeah. Red cycling shorts. I regret red cycling shorts.
That's
Yeah.
tough.
I
That's
rode for a
tough.
team that had
Yeah.
red cycling shorts. If you don't finish peeing properly, it's like a window to everything. It's just like
That's-
a little bit of water in those shorts, and it's like going, I can see your religion.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Those are bad. They were bad. So yeah, those were the days, man.
Oh.
And I could keep going. I mean, like I said, there are cycling kits that I'm not happy with from
Yeah.
over the years.
Yeah.
Cycling's just a sport of fads. Let's be honest. You know.
Yeah.
What I think is really interesting though is I remember when the first Packfiller kit came, and you and I were like, "This is
The black one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the black one." And we were like, "This is so cool! Like this is the coolest kit we could ever wear." And now looking back on it, I still think it's a cool kit.
Yeah.
But it's definitely interesting to see how like now I look at it and I go, I feel like the cooler. Yeah.
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 You do kind of like go, ugh.
Yeah.
It's not like now.
I still wear the shorts occasionally, especially
So do
on
I.
on the trainer because they were made by
Jack Crew.
Jackaroo. Yeah. And what I liked about them is
They
the
went
bibs
really
are up a
high.
little higher.
Super high.
So
Yeah.
it kind of sucks in
Yeah.
the belly
It's like
a
a
little
corset.
bit. You can just put
It is a little.
top
Yeah.
it. It's
Yeah.
kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, everything's tucked in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't have
can-
that stomach bulge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of like those shorts. But yeah, it was a black with kind of a neon, not neon, but the green of the Packfiller logo, the brightest color in the Packfiller logo. And we
That was
they
the
were cool.
jersey.
And shorts.
They were both black and green.
Yeah, the shorts were black with a green trim at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the kit was black with green highlights and stuff like that. So it wasn't a bad kit.
No, it's cool. It's
but
just
it was
not now.
It's not
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's how things have changed. So who knows?
Yeah.
You're looking back at this last kit, calling it, I don't know. Although I think Athletic Brewing stole our design because it's the same colors as the athletic burn kit. It's freaking me out. You guys, how's the training week gone? Let's open the doors. Jackson's gonna hold the cards a little close to the chest, but the rest of us can because he's gonna.
Well, I mean, I'll go.
I crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go first.
1,300 watts for 18 minutes.
I wish. I over the last week, the most writing I did all the way up until Saturday was my fit with Sam here. But
there we go.
Because I got sick to a point where it wasn't COVID, I'll say that, where I couldn't really taste much or smell much.
That is, it's just like you hear that now and you're just like, get away, get away.
But it was all tested and everything, no COVID. So so I got pretty sick to a point where I missed a day of work last week and kind of just took it all the way until Saturday, where I rode pretty hard again because I wanted to make up for lost time. And then I did yesterday. And yesterday I had never seen. So you know how in Zwift you can wear like the jerseys like KOM, or you have like
you're gonna take this from me.
Well,
anyway, keep going.
Or you can wear like a sprint or like a lap jersey. Yeah. So at first I got second in the lap. So I did the Champs-Élysées in France, which it's pretty flat, but it has some climbing to it. And it took me 10 minutes and 34 seconds to do 4 miles, and the guy in front of me did it in just 10 minutes flat, and then he logged off.
Yeah. So all of a sudden you're like, bing, I'm in a jersey.
However, I also had the sprint jersey at the time.
Oh.
So I've never seen 2 jerseys at once. It was split in half. I had to take a picture because I never knew that existed.
That's rad. That is rad.
I thought that was so cool, and all because he stopped riding. So I feel pretty good about the fact that I outlasted him.
Yep. You win.
Yep.
I really wanted to talk about the fact that I won a jersey for the first
and then
time
he
in my
won
life.
2.
I won 1 for a climb, and I was so proud of myself that I took 40 photos of my camera. It's just like
I did that too for the first time.
I stopped pedaling and was taking pictures of myself because I'm like, this is never gonna happen again. This is the best day of my life. And Jackson got 2 jerseys.
Yeah.
So
just one up and you. That's brutal.
Sam, you can go next because I have to completely rethink
your existence.
The rewards of my past week.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, actually, this last week is kind of where the wheels came off, just in the sense of my standard training. I still got in. It was maybe 4 days. I think it was 4 days, or maybe it was 3 days plus a ski. It was something like that. It was just that the way that it was arranged was not ideal. It was let's say I rode on Wednesday, and then I had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I didn't ride till Sunday night.
Oh, okay.
Right? A big span off because I was just so busy. But I've been stacking my rides, so they're all pretty much an hour and a half now. And I do 45 minutes of intervals, threshold, and then 45 minutes of endurance. And it seems to be working really well.
Wow.
Yeah. But lower, I was looking at it and man, I don't feel like I haven't really dropped weight or anything, but looking back, I can sit now at 250 watts and my heart rate's 120.
Wow.
Which
That's
my
nice,
heart rate,
yeah.
I can sit at 185 for over an hour. I
Beats?
have a crazy high heart rate.
Wow.
Yeah. So if my heart rate's that low, that's fantastic.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm thinking that, I'm really hoping that when I come into March in Maui, I'm hammering.
That's what I'm thinking of taking a spring break.
Yeah.
Because the great perk about being a teacher is you get a week off in April.
Yeah.
And so I got to catch up to Paul because Paul's going to ride this whole week.
Is that Michelle would be down to go somewhere.
She would. Well, she has to work primarily. So
Can't she work remote though?
She can.
So,
but I don't know if she wants to necessarily sit in a hotel room and work all day, or even worse, sit in an RV and work all day.
Airbnb. You know how cool Airbnbs can be?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
So anyway, what did I do? I put 4, maybe 4.5 days in this week, which is actually not bad. I'm kind of slowly kicking things in. 4 good ride-based workouts, and then I finally finished my 10,000 squat Dare Be challenge. It's supposed to be done over 30 days. But what I did is I put it up in my office, and every day I'd come in and I'd look at the thing only on work days, and I look it up and I'm going, okay, throughout the day I got to do 400 squats, or throughout the day today I had to do 600 squats to finish it off, and those days I just lock my classroom door so nobody comes in and watches Mr. Pack going, up and down, yeah, exactly, and I would just crank them out. I'm like, nope, I gotta go pick something up from the office. Oh, before I go, I'm gonna do 100 squats. Boop, 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 boop. And then I go to the office, stuff like that. And by the way, these Derby things are brilliant. So the next one I'm gonna start is lunges, and getting up to the point where you're doing 200 lunges, which is 100 each leg, which is quite a bit.
That's a lot.
So it's
Each day?
Well, it's starting with like 30 lunges, 30 on each leg. And then you every day increase it just a little bit to the point till you get where you're doing 200 lunges on each leg.
Each day.
Just one day. Yeah.
That's
so you
still-
build
Yeah.
throughout 30 different days.
Yeah.
And they
That's
have
insane.
a database on this stuff that is just like hundreds long, and it's really cool. And so I just print them off and I put them up. I had some shoulder stretches on my wall and stuff like that from the same
You're still able
website.
to reach up overhead?
Yesterday I had a kind of a sore day, but this is I can grab my arms. So I don't know if the video's catching this. And, do I have armpit stains?
No.
Nope, you're good.
You look
Really?
great.
I'll
You
just
look
stay like
great.
this the whole time.
Yeah.
You'll get stuck
This is
there.
where I am.
Yeah.
Practicing your crossing the line first.
Exactly.
You know?
Oh, we all have our salutes, right?
Yep.
So I got to get more core into the program, and
Yep.
I was gonna. Someday I have to.
Oh,
ask
we'll give you
about
some
that.
exercises.
Because I don't want to do planks.
No.
because that'll just
Yep.
screw
Jack
things
up
up
your
even
shoulders.
more. Yeah, okay.
Even more.
okay.
We're working to undo that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Has anybody found any events yet? I know it's early in the year. I was in a meeting the other day, and I found out the dates of our preliminary road calendar, at least for March and April, and then some events in July and August, and then our local race has been changed to late summer.
When is that again?
Which one?
The local race?
Our RC3s. They haven't quite picked the date yet, but they're looking into September now.
God, that's a bummer. I'm likely not going to make that. I will likely
Really?
be in Europe.
Oh,
Yeah.
That sucks.
Well,
how dare you go?
I know.
Man, that blows. Yeah.
10-day trek in Switzerland sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
it would be fun to do that race, especially
Yeah.
just with the way the training's going. But
And I understand their reason for trying to figure out the schedule. I wish they would have kept it where they kept it.
Right.
But I understand that they don't want to do it in July and August because we here in the Northwest now are so terrified of smoke.
But smoke happened in September last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good all the way up until like end of August.
And we've got a great snowpack this year. I mean, it's almost weird that you have to actually figure placing your calendar dates based upon the snowpack.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to me, you guys, about traveling to races. In the old days, I remember that it would be like we'd hop in the car, we'd drive 250, maybe 300 miles, even the point of doing one race. But of course, back in the day, you'd find another race someplace. Like if we went over to the west side, the Seattle area, we could probably find at least Friday night track racing, and then we could do a crit or a road race on the weekends. That's not the case anymore. We have very few races to attend. How far are you willing to go, and how many events in a weekend do there need to be, or what is the magnitude of the event you would travel for? For example, a large gravel race, a longer gravel race, or a big road race, or a big downtown type of a crit. Would you travel? And if so, how far would you travel? I just kind of want to open this up and to see how we've changed in terms of willingness to hit the road.
That is a great question. I could go on for like an hour for this topic just because
we're only 25 minutes into a
Yes.
90-minute show. So
I will say a few things. One, how far will I go, right? If Derby days or like Ballard crits, so those are big west side of the state crits, or people that aren't here locally, it's probably like, what, 4.5, maybe 5 hour drive in the summer?
to Seattle?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4.5.
Yeah. So I would go over
275 miles.
in a heartbeat. Like, I don't know what would prevent me from going over there. I would probably even like wake up day of, drive over, and then like sleep on, I don't know, a friend's couch again, and then come back the next day. I don't know, because like those are so much fun, right? But they're huge events. Short of that, like, I think that gravel events like Rebecca's Private Idaho, I would go to that. That's on my bucket list.
Is it?
Yep. I definitely want to do that. Like, cool stage race, right? But it's just funny to think back on like where I was back in 2014 when I was in the heat of it. My God. I mean, a friend was getting married. I'm like, hey, that's great, but I'm not going to be there. I have a 1 day
That's so
crit.
funny.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, definitely not.
At a business park.
At a business park, right? Like, I'm telling you,
In
my
Tacoma.
wife, thank God that she is with me, because like it's incredible. There's no way like I would have tolerated what I was doing in the sense of like, oh yeah, no, bike racing is the most important. And so like it was incredible how I would just drive. It was however I'd get there, and I'd sleep on somebody's couch. Nowadays, I'm not gonna David and I, did a Chico stage race. Did you ever do that?
No.
Okay, it's a really cool race actually, but it was when he was in San Luis Obispo, and it was we drove up there. It's in, why am I blanking on the capital of California? Just outside
Sacramento.
Yeah, so it's just outside of Sacramento is where Chico is, and we found that race to where I was then going to continue driving back up to Bellingham because that's where I lived, and then he would just flip a UE and go back down to San Luis Obispo. So I was like, all right, in stage race. Well, I was like, well, I remember a professor of mine was originally from Chico. I reach out to this old professor, and I'm like, hey, do you have any contacts that I can get a hold of for like sleeping on their couch, right? Like,
Which is the most passive-aggressive way to say, can I crash in your bedroom?
Yeah.
I mean, on your couch. Not in your bedroom. That's creepy. Can I get an A?
Yeah. But like, I had graduated, right? Like, I was gone from college at the time, and she goes, yeah, I have this good, she's like, yeah, I have these good, friends from
porn music.
No, she lived in Bellingham at the time.
Oh, okay.
She was my professor in Bellingham.
Oh, okay.
And she was from Chico previously.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, I contacted her old friends and slept. I'm like, we show up on their doorstep at like 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, hi, I'm Sam. Can I crash in your room?
And they were like, okay.
Threw out the couch, and we're like, yeah, here you go. Like, that's what I used to do back in the day.
Oh,
right?
Wow.
Yeah.
I could never.
No, I know. Like, and that was, and back then it was like, yeah, this is normal. Like, this is what you do. And because when I did collegiate, like, we would just stay in people's houses, whoever knew college students. And so anyway, like,
I did that throughout my entire cycling career. Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like back then, I wouldn't even think twice. Now I'm like, I am not going to contact some stranger and go sleep on their couch.
No.
I'm 31.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to get like a hotel, maybe with some teammates. I'm fine with crashing with teammates in a hotel, but I'm not going to crash in some rando's house anymore.
And your price automatically quadruples.
So then exactly, your price goes up. So it's like it gets so expensive to go to some of these races, and races do an excellent job. Like I know Tour de Bloom even has volunteers of people that like offer up, bed space or whatever, and so local riders can come that can't afford to me back in the day, so they do their best to like provide that, but it's just you have to take all that into consideration now.
For example, Spokane to Sequim, one of our spring races, it's 380 miles.
No, I won't go that
When
far.
is that one?
Or about 6 hours of driving. March 11th. There's another place, Mason Lake. I don't know Mason Lake. Where I've
That's
never
where
raced
I
it.
have lake cabin. What? We haven't talked about this?
No.
We talked about this. Get out of here.
How far is that away?
It's 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one race. That's a day race. That's a single day race.
So did they? Because they used to do Squim Mason Lake. Are they still doing that? Like it was a Saturday, Sunday.
So far, what I have is a no. They're not on this consecutive dates.
See,
right now. That's what I've got.
That's what they used to do. Is that they would do like Saturday would be Squim, Sunday would be Mason Lake, and so I would go Squim, drive down to the lake cabin, sleep there, race Mason Lake, go home.
Nice. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
worth.
If you guys want to go to the cabin, we can absolutely go to the cabin. I will. It would take a lot for me to go back to that race. I have bitter memories of that race.
I think I would
You do.
I would go to Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a crit or for
a crit, I think.
We have the Vancouver crit on the 20th of July, and the Hammer crit and the Portland crit are both sometimes in August.
Yeah, I think
they're back to back.
Yeah, going to Portland I would do, especially because I've lived there for a bit. And
so you're going for sentimental reasons more than proximity or ease, or
what I was gonna say is racing. When I did race in Portland that one time, it was a lot of fun. It was a really cool environment that I liked. So I thought, I would like to race in something like that again. I think that'd be kind of cool. But also, yes, I would understand like the city.
Yeah.
I would also be like, oh, there's my bad apartment. Like,
it's
a cool things like that. Yeah.
Little opportunity to drive through the town.
Right.
Now, putting into perspective, Jackson, once upon a time, we would drive 300 miles one way for a soccer game for you as a kid, for one game.
Well, back then it felt like I didn't have a choice.
Yeah. I mean, but how
also
brutal
you didn't have to drive.
was that realistic? I mean, if I were to say, hey, Jackson, we're going for one race just like we used to in the old days, and you would look at me and go, no. Would you? No, would you?
Would
you say no?
Would I make that?
If I said, "Hey Jay, we've got I'm going to a race Saturday. We're gonna leave at 6:00 in the morning. We're gonna do the race, and we're gonna either come home that night or we're gonna stay one night."
Yeah, I mean, I would do that. I'm getting more to that point where I'd be willing to go and do that, especially now that I've settled in. I understand how my schedule works and all that, and recovery. But yeah, I think I would do that. I would like to do that with the whole team this year at least once. I think that'd be really cool. Yeah. We all get to go to a race and experience it together, and then afterwards kind of share a time together. I think that would be kind of cool. Yeah. So like whether it is we travel to your lake cabin or we travel to Jack's house, something like that. I think that would be really cool for us.
10 out of 10, it should be a stage race, just so we can experience a weekend together.
Yeah, and I know that's the first thing Paul would have said is he would have talked immediately about the fact that these stage races are affordable, rim brakes, Belgian beer, yada yada. But the thing about it is how do we expect people to travel to our races if we're not willing to pay it forward and go to theirs? And so I think
because we've been doing it for years.
But
God, no
I'm not a noob anymore. I don't have to. I paid my dues.
I've paid my dues a long time.
All right, that's fair.
I do understand where you're going with that. Like that makes sense.
It also cracks me up that for example, I hopped in the RV 10 miles a gallon in March last year and drove to BFE Washington. I just middle of nowhere, got a camping site and did all that, and then rode a gravel fondo the next day, and I didn't blink twice about it. But if I were to hop into the car and drive to Squim, and I'm like, one race, that's not enough.
Yeah.
But I'll go for a
100-mile
gravel fondo. It's so weird.
That's really
in my
weird.
mindset.
Well, I think at least for me, what makes it like more worth it is having others go with me. Yeah. I'm not the only one doing the event, because then at that point it's like I get to go, and then sure I get to talk about it with my significant other, whether or not they come. And I'm not saying they wouldn't. I mean, obviously she would love to do all that stuff. Yeah. But it's like I don't know what it is, but having like teammates that also experienced the race that I can talk about definitely make it a little more worth it for me. Like when we went to where did we go? Ellensburg.
Oh yeah.
I didn't finish that ride, but also it was like I had a great time talking about it afterward.
Yeah.
And like if I went all by myself, to be honest, I wouldn't have gone if I was going to go all by myself.
I will say you're totally striking a key there, because like when I was in college, I was excited to go every single weekend, and it could be anywhere from Bellingham to Missoula, right?
Yeah.
Like huge drives.
Yeah.
Every single weekend in the car at, right when school was out at like
People don't
4.
know that. People don't know that's about 200 miles a radius, a 200 to 300 mile radius of our city.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so, but when I was in 200 miles the other way, and then going 200 miles the opposite.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a
long.
15-hour drive.
Yeah, Bellingham to Missoula is a long way
Oh, I
to
keep
go.
forgetting Bellingham.
Huge.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing is like I was looking forward to, but it was the camaraderie, because not only my teammates were there, but also all the guys that I was racing against, we were all friends, right? And so that was super exciting. And then once I left collegiate and went to the just standard open, it was good because I was still on a big team and that was fun, but it wasn't the same as like that, seeing all my buds and all my friends. And I think that part of that changes with like your priorities in life, right? But that was still something I look forward to when David and I were racing over here, and we were still racing with a team that was based on the other side of the state, is like we'd get to go see our teammates on the weekend. So we would drive over and it's like we get to go pair up with them. And that was a blast. Whereas like unless you guys went, I honestly, there's no way in hell that I would go to Squim. There's no Mason Lake. I have a place there. There's no way.
Really?
There's no way.
Okay, let me play a little devil's advocate here, because this just popped into my head. How far would you travel to go see a concert, a rock band, a band you've always wanted to see?
If Taylor Swift was coming to Spokane downtown, I would go.
Well,
downtown.
Yep.
No, but
I'm not. You asked it. I'm not a concert person.
I was like, Taylor Swift.
if Taylor Swift is going to Seattle, I would go.
vegan,
Which I am.
Yeah. Backstreet Boys, I'll be there.
The dude's a Taylor Swift fan and he's a vegan. We got to change the locks, man. Burn that microphone.
Invited him.
Okay. So you don't go to concerts.
I don't.
So
that was just
example.
But he would go to Seattle for Taylor Swift. So
Which I am. But also, like, for instance, like, let's say, like, if Harry Styles was in Seattle, genuinely, I would make the trip. Because that's, like, to me, that's, like, a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Wow, that's crazy.
Okay. No,
but, like, if you, my thought is, like, here's, if in a bike race, you get, my races are usually 80 miles.
Yeah.
Let's say in the 1-2 field, right? If a road race is 80 miles, that's going to take 4 hours, right? At most. So it's like I'm paying for 4 hours of entertainment, right? And then you get a little bit on each side. It's like that concert's not 4 hours, is it?
But see, the thing is, how I view going to a race and how I also view going to a concert are very similar things. I don't think that I'm only going for the thing. I'm also going on a trip.
Okay.
That's how I view things. So like, let's say we have like a Seattle race. I would go there for the race, obviously, but also there's other things around that I think would make it fun. But that also costs a lot.
Yep. So we just need to change our mindset. God, you're so bright.
No,
You
what
are
could I
so
say?
wise.
Okay. You know what? I was going to go to the news, but I'm going to say
He should lead this show.
Yeah, I know. Pretty soon I'm not going to be able to push the buttons or read the news anymore. Speaking of which, I was going to go to the news, but I'm going to jump because I'm going to hold the news till the end of the show because I'm going to jump straight to the topic.
That wasn't the topic?
No, I know.
It wasn't.
Wow, that was
Just an opener. We just segued like a mad mother to all the way to there. Tonight's topic brought to us by our friends at Giro. Believe it or not, right? I think they're new. Are they? Did I mention them before?
They're tagged.
Not
yeah,
have.
so.
That's right. We technically have two helmet manufacturers on board. Why? Because they both rock. Giro is the OG of the helmet revolution. I said OG. We were all wearing salad bowls on our head. Well, at least Paul and I, before Giro had the genius to rethink how we protect our brains. Seriously, I had a Bell V1 Pro. The thing was like honestly taking a wooden bowl and just sliding it onto your head. And then my dad let me wear a Broncale one, which was like a hockey, those old school hockey helmets, kind of like that. Yeah. Breathed about as well as a corpse. Yeah, they were just terrible. Not to mention Giro's innovations in shoes, clothing, and so much more. Giro, you guys. Sam, you talked, and what made me switch is we were talking about the concerts. You're like, okay, 4 hours. I'm paying for 4 hours of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
A bike race.
Mm-hmm.
In pain.
Yeah.
Entertainment. I want to talk about the cyclist's ability to ignore. We as a species are kind of messed up. Bike racers are. We tolerate pain on a daily basis. We are at our happiest when we feel our worst. We all need, all we need are chains and whips, and we're full-blown masochists. Let's be honest, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I want to take a second before proceeding to talk that while we hope to make this show a comedy-based show, this can be a serious issue also. And I want to let everybody know that we're not ignoring the symptoms. We're follow doctor's orders, ask for help, make sure to take care of yourself both physically and mentally. I want to talk about the way cyclists screw themselves up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How many of us ignore physical symptoms? I mean, I think I brought this up on the last show. I've spent the last 3+ years thinking my shoulders just felt like crap because
You're
in my
getting
50s.
old.
Yeah. Aches and pains, a little virus. Anybody get oh, it's just a little virus. I'll be fine. You know,
If I ride, it'll clear out sooner.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that.
Underneath my armpit feels like a grapefruit, but I'll be fine.
Yeah.
You know, or something like that.
Yeah.
Do we do that? Can we all agree that we do that?
Yeah. I'm guilty of it, and I work in the field.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
It just attracts that mentality of intensity, right? Like that's why, like in all seriousness, like you'll see a lot of recovering drug and alcoholic, individuals coming from like rehab, and then they need some kind of an outlet, and they get into biking, right? They get into some kind of endurance sport because like there's a certain level of intensity and insanity that goes with this.
It's almost like a flagellation thing where it's like I'm punishing myself for past sins or something like that.
Yeah.
Jackson, do you think... actually, no, I'm going to ask you that first question because I know that you've been, you've had aches and pains. You've had, especially your knee issues and probably injuries associated with your soccer career. But do you just kind of push it away and say, oh, it's no big deal. I deal with pain all the time. Have you entered that mentality range?
Kind of, yeah. It very much depends, especially when it comes to, which is really interesting, like working.
Yeah.
I've noticed that I've become more like, oh, if I'm getting sick, I have to go, But in terms of cycling, it's definitely like in the moment when if I'm riding hard and it's like, for instance, if it's a race and I begin to feel some sort of pain, like I'm immediately going to ignore that because I care more about, it's going to sound terrible, but in the moment, I would care more about the result than I would my body.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, I know. It's sick.
So screwed
if
up.
if I'm going up a climb full gas and I could get dropped or stay with them, I'm going to stay with them.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to do all I can possibly to.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, like you'll push until your arms go numb because it's like I'm not dead yet.
Yeah.
Is it I keep thinking of the classic, alpha male mentality. Oh, I'm fine. Rub some dirt on it. You'll be good, But I see a lot of cyclists who do that. Who's just like going, oh, no, I felt worse. I'll be fine.
Well, sport
Yeah.
fosters that. Sport
It
really
does,
fosters that. Yeah.
It loves the emotion of it, right?
But I'm talking even day to day.
Yeah, no,
know.
totally. Because like I've struggled with my back issues, right? Everybody's known how many races I missed last year. I was just thinking, I've missed 2 of the state champ. I've paid for 2 of them the last 2 years, and I haven't gone.
That's
okay. Anyway, but no, like it's one of those things that I had to really take a realization in the last. I've gotten good at it in the last 2 years to being like, no, I have to pay attention to my body because we are a breed in which it's like I am willing to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Give it to me.
And there's this pride about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I coughed up a lot. I puked at the end of that race. I was going so hard. It's like that is serious gastrointestinal issues, man.
Yeah. It's like when I broke my arm and finished riding 20 miles because I was like, yeah, I can do it. What?
Yeah.
It's one of those things that it breaks my. When I had my crash last season in Maui, I was like, I could ride home.
Yeah, every time soccer is on TV, all the cyclists go to social media
torn
bloody and
up.
like, I'm fine. And part of me is going like, yeah, we are tough. But then the other part of me is going, that's really messed up.
It
I mean,
is.
that we are writing ourselves far and beyond where we should be. I mean, we're watching NFL players playing with massive major concussions. How many cyclists have probably jumped back on the bike, probably with a head injury that should not allow them to continue?
100%. That is so real. Man, get your concussion checks before you get back on a bike if you've had a bike accident. Even if you haven't like actually hit your head, it's called coup counter coup, and it's just like the head jerk, and your brain literally slaps against the inside of your skull. And that's a concussion. You may not even like actually hit your head, and that's what can happen. It's just like what happens with the whiplash. And the other thing that I will say is like, I mean, yeah, I have so many, even friends locally, and this is like, I can pull up articles on this, about people that have AFib, for instance, or like any kind of issue with their heart that they go into irregular beats. And it's more common in cyclists. And
Leonard Zinn wrote a book about it called The Haywire Heart.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so it's one of those things that like, it's because we push through these limits, and it's like there's a sense of pride in it. It's like, man, I want to be 80 and still riding. I don't want to be.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like, actually take a step back and look at like what is good for your body, because there's a lot of research out there for like pushing too far and what is too far.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think that putting our bodies through this constant pain and stress is going to, I mean, there's this what doesn't kill me makes me stronger mentality. Does this type of mentality and lifestyle, is it going to make us live longer, or is it going to cut it off earlier? I mean,
yeah, I think that's that's a tricky mentality to have, though, because I think doing things that are healthy for yourself are obviously very, very important. We all know that. That's not saying anything new. But I also think that living in a mentality of, is this going to kill me someday, or is this going to keep me living? That's never a place that I don't know if I need to live in, because then I'm going to constantly, I mean, for instance, the fact that I'm 2/3 into this cider, is that going to make me live longer? You know, like I don't.
It's not the years, it's the quality.
Oh,
wow, that was a big.
Yeah,
that made my headphones shake.
Sorry about that. But because when I go out for a ride, I don't think, is this gonna make me live longer? Because that'll just, that'll stress me out. You know.
Yeah, totally. In
every ride gives me another month.
Yeah. But I think that is like to the point of, there is definitely a fine balance between like, there's some people that I tell them like, oh yeah, I hopped on the bike for 2 hours this morning, and they're like,
why?
You rode your bike for 2 hours?
Yeah.
Like,
how's your butt feel?
Yeah, exactly. And so like, you can tell the difference between somebody who like actually needs to HTFU, right?
Yeah.
And as opposed to like,
God.
Skip the F word on that one.
No,
right?
it's
Just
my
abbreviated.
next question. The HTFU mentality.
Oh, get out of here.
I'm circling it.
A perfect lead.
Yeah, it was,
but and like, then there's other people that need to actually dial it back and realize like, okay, I'm actually doing damage to myself right now, right? Like, you shouldn't be spending excessive time. And for me, like, my heart rate is high, but like, if I'm above 200, I'm doing damage. I'm like coughing up, like every time I breathe, it's like a hard wheeze for like 2 days, and it's like, that's probably too far.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
It's a balance.
Yeah, and I've heard other content creators out there talk about how their heart rate is like over 200. And in that moment, I'm like, I'm pretty young. I know that I can get to a pretty high heart rate. Like when I see 190, that's when I know that it's like, that's the roof. I couldn't imagine hitting a point where I see a 2 in the first 3 digits.
Oh God, yeah. The number of times that I will never forget going up Mount Bachelor, the Cascade Cycling Classic, day 3 or something like that, and from the bottom I was 200, at the top I was 215.
See, that's
the whole time up the mountain.
I see 200.
You're gonna die.
No, I am dead.
You are dead. Yeah.
I'm on the ground, and somebody's going, "Don't go into the light. Stay away from the light."
Yeah, I'm pouring water in your face trying to wake you up.
Why? Hey. Tell Michelle I loved her. And the key to the safe is in the.
Yeah.
Now wake him up. All our big statements are in that safe. Yes, this HTFU mentality that we have in cycling. It's this swallow it up. It's this get tough. It's this mentality. And you know what? It's so funny because I find myself, ridiculing other masculine macho type of sports. But let's be honest, we are 1,000% entrenched in it. And I'm not in the women's peloton, but I can only imagine it's the same thing, but with a lot less grunting.
Yeah.
And ball scratching or something like that. But it's I imagine it's the same thing. It's this harden up, get tough, dig deeper than the other person. How many more cliches can I find? 110%, all that bullshit that comes out. Talk to me about have you guys ever ridden yourself into injury?
Well, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I
mean,
mean,
I'm not talking crash.
No, yeah.
Really?
At the end of the 2014 season, I had finished a massive collegiate season, went to nationals. I had to coach the whole time. So he's like, I'm just gunning for I want the best results I can have. And, at the end of the season, I actually will never forget going into the doctor and saying, I have mono. The doctor looks at me and they're like, no, you don't.
You're a cyclist. You don't kiss anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Your pillow doesn't count, Sam.
Exactly. They're like, why do you think you have mono? And I'm like, I have no energy and I feel like I'm dying all the time. And they're like, yeah, eat some food, bud. And I was like, I eat endlessly. And okay, well, stop exercising. And I'm like, I can't. I weighed 165 pounds at 6'3".
Wow.
Right? I was just Skeletor.
What do you weigh, Jackson?
That.
You weigh 165?
Yeah, but it was very different proportions. I had just ribs showing and then huge legs, right? I mean
emaciated.
And there's emaciated because I'm not a pro athlete, right?
Yeah.
You'll see pro athletes like Brad Wiggins or Chris Froome, right? And those guys they're built differently. Yeah. I'm an average Joe that just got into that competitive league. And so it's one of those things where I was not built for that. And so they just looked at me stop riding and eat more. And I was like, okay, sure enough, put on 5 pounds and I'm like, oh, I feel like a hero.
You stopped riding and ate more?
Yeah, I had to. I was dying. I was like, wow. This is how I die.
I rode myself into Epstein Bar.
That's crazy.
In my junior years. Yeah. 17, 18. Some of my fastest years of cycling, I kept training and training. And then I went to the Olympic Training Center and I was racing against guys. And when I first got there, I was competitive as hell.
Yeah.
And then over the next 3 months, I was training with everybody, but I just got more and more and more. I got slower and slower. I couldn't hold on. Eddie B looked at me once, Eddie, the national team coach. He's just like, we need to put a stop sign on your ass because you're the last rider on every field. And by the way, as a 17-year-old, and when a tough old curmudgeon-y Polish guy tells you this, you go back to your room and you sob into your pillow.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like,
I'm not good enough.
I'm the worst person ever.
Yeah.
But I rode myself into that.
Yeah.
Jackson, you nodded when I first asked.
Yeah, I mean, with the first Midnight Century that I rode was on a bike that was too small.
Yeah.
And after a while, I knew that it felt weird, but it's your first century.
Mm-hmm.
It's what, 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And then you're in the middle of nowhere. It's like, how am I supposed to quit right now? I was in that mindset back. That was when I think I had finished playing soccer, but it was, the next sport you pick, you're probably still going to be in that same mindset.
Sure.
And for a little background, when you play soccer, if you get hurt, especially as the position that I played, you have to get up, or else you're the last line. And and so that was what I thought I needed to do. Except now, I'm 23 years old. That was my freshman year of college when I was 18 or 19 or whatever. And I still have that exact same knee thing. So it's like,
yeah.
We should do that this year.
Midnight Century?
Yeah, I've never done it. We should just do it as a team.
I'm about to use one of my words.
Do it. I dare you.
Fuck you, man. Because last year, you were going to do it.
I know.
And the boat's sinking. I better bail.
Yeah.
And I
sorry, guys,
showed up.
can't make
I
it.
showed up more or less by myself. There were some people I knew there. There are some people. And, a lot of you guys are listening right now. There were some people I know there. But I just feel uncomfortable unless I have like a security friend, a security friend there. Yeah, I'm just like, I need to reach over occasionally and just touch somebody. I'm a really insecure person. The more I've hosted this show,
when we were talking about not saying hi to people, this is real.
The more I'm hosting this show, the more I'm realizing how absolutely messed up I am as a human being. And I hope it's entertaining for people, because I really hope you're enjoying me exposing my nakedness of stupidity and insanity to everybody. But I went there. I showed up. I was there. I was like going, hey, how are you? And we started the whole thing. And then I got into it. And I was just going, I don't have my friends with me. I don't know, man. This isn't working. I can be competitive, but I miss my friends. Yeah. And then my lights went out.
That's brutal.
But anyway, it's a great ride. It would be an even better ride
if you had a friend.
Well, yeah, but if it wasn't at midnight, I don't like going to bed at 6 o'clock.
What if it started at like 10? You know,
I'd probably be more apt for it.
I would be more apt for it, because then you'd be done at 4 or whatever, right? And it's like, that still like sucks. Don't get me wrong. It throws off your whole sleep cycle, but it's not starting at midnight.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I haven't seen midnight in a long time.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm in bed at.
I did 10 days ago.
39.
Yeah, I did 10 days ago.
8:30.
8:30.
Whoa.
8:30 or 9. I'm going to bed, and I'm like, I mean, my wife leads the charge.
Hey, Paul, this one's for you.
Hey, you boys, best keep sweating out there. The more sweat,
but
the
like,
better, boys.
I got up at 5 this morning.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, I just want to finish off a couple topic things about the things we sacrifice. Are they healthy sacrifices? Time, diet, alcohol. Yes, I will admit I am 10 days off of alcohol, and my Whoop score, well, except tonight, but my Whoop scores have gone through the roof. I have more energy, and it's really pissing me off because
it sucks.
I like beer and bourbon. And our obsession as bike racers, Sam, as you talked about it, going to your doctor, we have an obsession with our weight. Borderline sick. I remember Tyler Hamilton's book talks about the fact that when he said he knew he was ready to go to the racing season, when he would sit on his dining room chairs, which were wood, and they would hurt because his sit bones would go straight to the chair. He had no fat layer left to protect his ass from a chair. That's not healthy. Can we admit it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that I am the freshest out of being in crazy good shape, because you're still there, right? And hopefully that stays.
We gotta ride that gravy train.
Yeah, exactly. But like when I was Jackson's age, I was like, man, 175. Year in, year out, right? And maybe I dipped down towards 170 when I was racing really hard, and then 165 when I was peaking. But anyway, now I'm a solid 190, maybe even 195, somewhere fluctuating in there. And it took me a long time to be comfortable with that, because I was like, oh, this is bad. Like, I need to lose weight. And my wife's always like, Sam, you're really healthy. Like, you don't complain about your back nearly anymore, you know? And so it's one of those things that it's really hard, that transition into becoming a normal human again, right? And like,
let me know when that happens.
And a functional human, and then like a cyclist. Like, those are two totally different things. But it's almost like we'll fat shame people too. It's like, oh, you need a size extra large jersey?
Yeah.
I'm a size medium.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, who cares? Great.
Yeah.
I've been fat shaming myself since the show started.
Yeah.
In 1999.
Yeah.
And I've been obsessed with it. And I am now at the point where I'm like going, I want to be 190.
That's healthy goals, though.
But then when I get to 190, I'll be like 185.
I know.
Really cool.
Yeah. See, that's where it gets dangerous. Is then you.
But I also, excuse me, I think that's also a weird thing that a cyclist does.
Yeah.
Is that we look at a number and we think, can we do more? And it all goes back to the fact that we continually push it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that healthy?
I mean, no.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
but I think we all have that obsession to, I mean, at least I'll speak for myself. I have that obsession to, can I just do a little more, or can I be a little bit better?
Yeah.
You know, it's this weird, especially with the competitive edge, we always want to have that leg up. And when it comes to weight, we all want to think, what is our best weight we can have to be better than the other person? I mean, I don't own a scale. So, and I think that is something that is very good for me in a way.
you.
But
Good for you.
but I also,
Because I do. I have a
do.
body fat scale too.
Yeah.
but I'll also go into the bathroom, and if I have my shirt off, I'll squeeze my stomach to see if I grab very much, you know? And I think that in itself is unhealthy because
Totally.
I know the fact that I am 6'4". I'm the tallest person in the room.
Yeah.
And I weigh, and this is not me meaning to be bragging.
You're
or,
the lightest person. in the room,
I
too.
shouldn't, I realistically, I probably shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it's,
you and Paul weigh like the same.
yeah,
right? That's
exactly.
insane.
And I'm not going to
least-
say a foot, but
at least 4, 5, 6 inches taller.
yeah, it's just like I shouldn't have that mentality of looking in the mirror and going, could I be better? Because realistically, if I was, I would probably be in trouble.
Yeah.
Right.
I actually included this because I type out my show notes earlier in the day, and I put in parentheses, say this, Pat, as I'm typing these actual notes, my stomach is growling, and I'm not going to let myself eat for another 90 minutes. Stupid, obsessed, or training.
Wow. Wait. Okay. So
This was probably at about 10:30 this morning. I am intermittent fasting. I still have been
I'm going to
intermittent
show you
fasting.
research on that.
How it's bullshit or how it's good?
With exercising, it's not good.
I wanted to ask Dr. David,
Yeah.
but Dr.
I
David
know,
isn't here.
God.
Yeah. Because yeah, I'm not going to do it during the season.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah.
But right now I'm like going, if I finish eating by 8:00, I can go to work and I can like kind of get busy and get distracted and then not eat until noon.
So here's the really interesting thing. I will say, like, I think intermittent fasting could be okay since you don't ride in the morning, right? So you ride in the evening if you ride on the weekday.
Yep.
So as long as you're eating before you get on the bike, because otherwise your body is going to digest its muscles first, right? Because that's where all the stores are kept.
Sure.
And so instead of, like, you're just breaking down all of that. So, like, for me, I ride in the morning, so I was intermittent fasting as well, and not a good thing.
Yeah.
But, like,
I
we
don't
do
think
that because we watch our weight.
Yeah. It's an obsession.
It's an
I'll be
obsession.
honest. I mean, I know that the average listener is going to go like, "Duh,
Yeah.
Pat's freaky weird about this."
Yeah.
And I am. It's just, but
I mean, it's a system that you found that has worked, though, because this last couple winters, I mean, you felt better, right?
yeah. Oh God, yeah. And
So-
every winter over the last 4 winters, I've been at least 4 to 5 pounds lighter than I was the winter before.
Yeah, see, I think that that's awesome.
I gain
think
in
that
the
there's-
winter. Don't get
yeah.
me wrong. Daddy likes beer and
And whiskey.
Christmas fudge and whiskey. Yeah, exactly.
But I mean,
So
there's also, a healthy balance. Like,
Yeah.
you're willing to go, oh, I'll let myself indulge during a specific time of the year, you know?
sure.
But you're also not saying, like, I'm going to go through, like, a specific process that is unhealthy, both mentally and physically, Like,
yeah. Yeah. Now, I'm going to switch gears to the mental aspect of how we mess ourselves up. I don't know if you guys read Bradley Wiggins' most recent. There was an article about Bradley Wiggins saying that he argued that his abuse that he suffered as a child contributed to his success as a professional cyclist, acknowledging a contradiction in the way that such instances of adversity can drive people to, quote, greatness, end quote. Multiple Olympic champion on the track, winner of the 2012 Tour de France. He revealed that he'd been groomed by a cycling coach when he was an early teenager. And this is a quote from him. I kind of think it contributed to why I was so great at cycling. It's a real contradiction in that the adversity is what gave me the drive to run away. I think there's a difference between being good and great at something, and my greatest ability was riding on my own. The drive that came within, particularly in cycling, was a means to facilitate escaping from where I grew up. So I did ride for hours away from Kilburn. The bike became a vehicle to run away from my childhood problems. The longer I could spend on my own time trialing for an hour record or an Olympic time trial in my own head was escapism from the person I was. When I stopped cycling, I didn't have that, and so I had to accept who I was. The last part of it, I think lots of people that are great at something have a drive that kind of stems from adversity. What we can do is change and accept it, or learn to stop running away from it and help others. Oh, yeah. So is the sport the savior, a coping mechanism, or is Brad living in a state of denial/protection?
I mean, I think that we all have different ways of, coping with our traumas.
Yeah.
But I guess, like, to speak personally, and this is not me, like, that's a really big, serious situation. That's a really
super
serious
heavy.
situation.
Yeah.
But I mean, coming from, like, I talk about going, like, soccer all the time. But that is a very toxic sport, especially when you get to a specific level, where if you don't spend a specific amount of time doing a specific thing, then you won't make it to that specific level.
Yeah.
And so my mentality has probably been for X amount of years, I have no idea, that if I am not working the hardest, being the best, then I can't be where I would like to be. Mm-hmm. And from that, I think that I have kind of created some sort of mentality where I always have to be on, or else I'll never be good enough. And so it's like that has stuck with me to a point where now I obsess about, if I don't ride, I won't. And I know I think I talked about this on a previous show, but like that I won't be better. And that's in and of itself a terrible mentality to carry with yourself, because being better than everyone else is not living within your own right. It's living on the account of others. And that's really dangerous.
Way to put it. Yeah.
And sometimes I have to stop myself and tell myself that, hey, I enjoy this. I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm not going to go to college for this. Like, that's something that I think cyclists always have to remember, is that, like, we aren't 3 pedal strokes away. Us amateurs are not 3 pedal strokes away from a UCI contract. Mm-hmm. We're riding on a Thursday night for fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a complicated sport, man.
Yeah, I mean,
that's such a great way to put it, Jay. I mean, because how many people have you met that think they're taking it so seriously? They're a sprint victory away from a pro contract.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, this is it, man. I'm gonna, get out of my way. I'm going to divorce my wife over this. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, too many people in their like mid-30s to mid-40s that are just like lose themselves in cycling and in a pretty unhealthy way. But
Alejandro Valverde, table for 1. Sorry.
Retire.
Yeah. He's still in the kit.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I will personally say, like, I mean, I am nothing like Brad Wiggins, right? But I can relate to his, like, wanting to release, like, inner pain into a, like, sport. And that's what, like, I was touching on earlier about, like, people have had troubles with, like, drugs and alcohol in the past. Like, it's a great source of, like, releasing that energy and that tension. Like, man, the times in which I am at my absolute worst and I just can get on a bike and just hammer. And it's like, just bring that inner pain out. And it's like, oh, that feels good.
Yeah.
But like, I think that there are healthy and unhealthy ways about that. But I do think that bikes can be a good source of unleashing that, but you have to find the balance in it, because too many people get lost in that then, and a lot of other parts of their life end up paying, whether that's work or family or
it's I don't know if you guys know this, but I've always been kind of a loner.
I wouldn't have guessed.
And some of my best moments of my life, and please don't take this wrong, especially considering the fact that my freaking son is in the room, and my yeah.
man.
Freaking just sounds so stupid.
Sounds so freaking stupid.
Sounds like
I miss
middle
fudge
schooler.
swearing.
Gosh darn it, Mom and Dad, you did this.
Mother pucking son of a goofball. It just sounds stupid when you just let the words go. Some of my best times of my life have been out in the middle of nowhere in my own head. I talk to several of my students right now about the fact that one of the worst things about adulthood is losing your imagination and understanding that creating those incredible, times of pretend in your mind it's a shame that we teach kids to lose these things. And some of my best times in my life were I would be out in the honest middle of nowhere, just in my head, creating things and scheming things. And these are the 5 o'clock in the morning moments that I talk about, Sam, where I wake up and boom, my brain's just going 300 miles an hour. I would do that. And that was probably in essence a coping mechanism of thinking through and I don't know, I don't want to say hiding from, but dealing with life's issues, parents divorcing, whatever it may be, all those types of things. Going out on the bike is a great way to just kind of, when I talk about the theater, I talk about leaving your problems at the door. I talk about saying you have your bags of problems. Drop them at the door. They will be there when you come back. Mm-hmm. Getting on a bike and going out for a long ride in many ways is the same concept. I can leave all my bullshit here, and I'm going to go out for a bike ride, and I'm not going to think about anything. Or even worse, when I don't mean worse, is I'm going to go for a bike ride with a bunch of friends, and we're going to just talk about stupid shit. We're going to movie quote, and we're going to hurt each other, and we're going to, and then do all kinds of stuff like that. And Paul is like a freaking brother to me in a lot of ways, but I'm going to hear the same story from Paul that I've heard 14 times, and I'm going to pretend I didn't hear it before.
Every time you ride by that house out.
Yeah. Paul's going to start telling a story, and he tells it a little different. He just seasons it a little differently every time, and I freaking love it.
Oh, yeah.
And so that is therapy to me, and it's a beautiful thing. I'll come home from a ride, and my wife will say, "What did you talk about?" I'm like, "I have no idea." She said, "You were gone for 4 hours, and you don't know what you talked about?" No, I don't really know what I talked about, but I swore more than I'm allowed to on the podcast. So, I don't want to dive too far into traumatic moments of our lives, but with what we're dealing with in terms of time, in what ways has the sport helped you in terms of your character like that? Dealing with these things, dealing with these emotions. Has cycling been a therapeutic moment? Has it damaged a relationship? Paul's talked about that he had a marriage fall apart.
His practice marriage.
Yeah, his practice. He did say that.
Yeah. I think that as everybody knows, I lived in Portland for a little while, and I loved my time there. I really did. But sometimes, college is a high stress situation.
Yeah,
totally in and of itself. But then, not only to mention that, my fiance and I were both very family oriented people, and so being away from the people that we love and enjoy to be around, it was kind of a tough thing to do. And so sometimes after, a night of my neighbors yelling that they wanted to kill each other.
You had messed up neighbors.
We did,
man.
yeah. But after nights like that, like stressful nights like that, or for instance, when the neighbor cat gave my cat fleas, just little things little things add up, especially when you have a 10-page paper due at the end of the week, just things like that, that add up on 20-year-old at the time.
COVID for your last 2 years of school.
So as we begin to speak about this stuff, and it adds up to almost look like a mountain that began as a molehill. Things like going out for a ride by myself really were therapeutic, and that's not because I needed to get away from my fiance at all. That's not it at all. But it's just like that solitude is something that is really important because you get to think through your problems at a level where you wouldn't be able to if you were talking to another person.
Sure.
Because I find that when I step back, and really think about things, that's when I find the best solutions rather than talking them out, because words do not come well to me sometimes.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, and so I think that solitude is an important thing that not only cyclists need, but everybody needs. However, when we ride, that is what we get.
Sam, before I ask you to respond to the same question, I want to say two things. Number one, I couldn't agree with you more. There are many times when your mom will go like, "What's going on?" I'm like, she wants to talk about it immediately, even if it's something that has nothing to do with her. She wants to talk about it immediately, and I'm like, I don't have the words. I want to talk about it immediately.
I don't want to process this.
I need to. And it's funny, Jackson, that you mentioned going out for a ride and getting over those things. And I was going to ask you, Mr. Social Media Manager, why on the picture for tonight you had a guy riding down a hill?
Is it all downhill from here?
Oh no.
You're out on a bike ride and you're almost on your way home and you're coming down off of your problems. You've gone out for a ride and I looked at that logo behind your head and I'm like, can you tell the future?
Wow, sometimes
Get me out.
Oh my God.
Sometimes we all just things
It's a metaphor for the show, man.
Your brain is incredible.
I'm not stoned or anything.
This is incredible.
Sometimes things just collide like that. That's crazy.
He's saying this, and over his shoulder is the monitor with the logo on it.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking up, going, "What?
planned
Stop!
it.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Kid knows so much."
he does.
Yeah.
He's way wise
Smart
about
and
this.
Yeah. Sam, talk to me about how it's helped you in terms of character or things like that.
Yeah, man. My wife and I are literally having this conversation on Sunday about how cycling has shaped me, like where I would be if I didn't have that, right? Because I mean, it taught me a lot of stuff, and now what it is, it's transformed over the years, right? Like it was what I was talking about earlier, and that it was like, hey, you all need to step aside because this is the most important thing in my life. Now it's like, this is what helps me find balance, right? So my wife is like, yeah, you can't not ride, because I'll come home from like a long week and like having to deal with patients, and I'm like, I do not want to talk to anyone. She's like, yeah, just go get on the bike.
Yeah, really.
Like just because it's where for me personally I process stuff, right? So I think about, it's just like the like old thing of like write down a letter and then go to sleep on it and send it in the morning if you still feel that way.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, 9 times out of 10 I am quick to the trigger. Anybody that knows me knows that. Like my first thing is like, I'm ready to rip someone a new one if they piss me off. And like, then if I can actually step away from that, which is the first miracle, and then get out on a bike ride to process it, it's the second miracle, I'm usually way better for it. Like it's a great time to like, there's something about the chemical like endorphins that you get, that like that hormonal release like makes you process this stuff in a different light than your normal brain, right? Whereas like you're just like cracked out on like all the bad stuff,
Right.
and so you're just mad and angry, and this gives you a chance to like process.
It's so easy to dwell on that negative stuff too.
It is, and like and cycling is such a
somebody
fun...
says one little side wrong thing to you, and I don't know about you guys, I'm always like, that's it, I'm up for 36 hours just obsessing over that one
and
thing.
thinking, how could I have like responded to that better, or what should I have like said to them, or
I come up with the perfect response, which is an insult. I came up with the jerk store Seinfeld response, but it came to me too late, and I just want to type back to him, go like, "Oh yeah, well, your
what I just thought
mom's a
of."
whore," or something like that. It's, my mother's been dead for 10 years. Oh shit!
Give me another 10 hours. I'll be back.
Yeah. Hold that thought.
That's a great thing about texting. You just, if somebody says something shitty, you don't have to respond, and that's the best thing. That makes me want to
ghost the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Anyways, what were you saying?
No, that's actually sums it up perfectly. Let's switch gears. Do you have a fit?
I do, man. I think of these all the time.
All right, fit tips with Bike Fit Sam, brought to us by our friends at the one and only Ambassador Cycling. And I do want to continue to thank Tailwind Physical Therapy. Do I have the name right?
Yeah,
is it
Tailwind?
Tailwind.
Yeah,
okay.
Tailwind.
Okay, because I've been there dozens of times.
Everybody says Tailwinds.
Tailwinds?
Yeah.
Really?
Like I truly, patients that walk through the door and I'm like, did you see the logo?
It's like when people say Nordstrom's. It's like there's no apostrophe.
It doesn't belong to Nordstrom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Nordstrom.
Oh, really? It's Nordstrom.
Nordstrom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See?
just
I'm doing that with
apostrophe S.
Nordstrom.
You hypocrite.
Yeah. You a wad.
But oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. So Tailwind.
Yeah.
Great place. That's where I work, and then side gig tucked in there is Ambassador Cycling, and yeah, I've had several fits I've been picking up lately, which has been fun.
AmbassadorCycling.com is what we do want to say though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Go there, send me an email, and I'll get you set up. But
Yeah.
man, I like so Bike Fit with everything that I offer, right? Like a lot of it comes down to measurements. And I had a guy today, like I'm just doing like honestly, we're talking couple degrees or millimeters, like with his whole thing. It's so like he's so close to being dialed. And then at the end he goes, yeah, that does feel a lot better. But the other part that we talked on is nutrition and is like cycling equipment. And so for cycling equipment, chamois. He's like, man, I have like so many different pairs of chamois, and it seems like some are thinner than the others that are thicker. And it's like, yeah, so look at like what you have, and usually it's labeled like endurance chamois, right? Those are what you can race in those. There's no reason. Whereas you get the race
I've never
cut.
paid attention to a specific chamois style. I just buy the
Yeah,
shorts.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I know, right? It's a normal thing. And so if it is endurance, it's usually a thicker chamois, and it's because you're spending more hours in it, right? Whereas the race ones are a lot lower profile. Honest to God, I cannot figure out why that is. Like, why would I want to be uncomfortable on race day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
yeah,
not
give
you're
me less
adding
chamois.
weight.
And, yeah, exactly.
Especially when you're racing 4 hours.
Totally.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for that. I don't know why that's the case, but the industry has like selected that, right? So a lot of the race cut stuff is going to be thinner chamois. Endurance is thicker.
Idiots.
And then the other big part is chamois butter.
Yeah.
Pro tip.
Oh, yeah.
Anything with tea tree oil in it is antibacterial, right? So you'll have less chance of getting saddle sores if you do something like, I only know the chamois butter brand the best.
UTT apostrophe R.
Yeah,
right?
not to
Yeah.
plug them, but just that's what
No.
I know the best. And
You're welcome
They
to.
have Euro style.
They
and
should
that
call
has-
us up and sponsor us.
They should.
Yeah.
Because I go through that.
Yeah.
But they have this tea tree one. It's Euro style.
Tea tree.
Tea
Okay.
tree oil. Yeah.
I have one by I can't remember the name of the company. But it actually I think has a low grade CBD in it.
Oh, is it,
Ooh,
is it
that's
Hello?
enjoyable.
Is it Hello Blue?
Yeah,
Or-
Hello
yeah.
Blue. Thank you. That's the manufacturer of it. I saw it
It
because
has CBD in it?
yeah, Phil Gaiman had it. And
Is
he
it
was
because
sponsored by
like all the like the arteries and stuff that you like absorb down there?
I don't know. It's mentholatum to the roof, and it's just like, ooh, feels like there's a breeze down there. But I'll tell
It's
you
an
what,
angel's kiss.
it is, and it's a disgusting visual when you think about it. But I anything over like an hour and a half, 2 hours, it's going on. And so anyway, I interrupted
Yeah, no,
your
no.
segment.
That's really it. Like
Yeah.
I would just say like when it comes to chamois, pay attention to what you're buying because like sometimes and what's hilarious is a lot of the time those cheaper bibs are actually a lot more comfortable because they have the thicker pad in them.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'd like to look at my skin suit versus my road
totally.
bibs because I've never even stopped. But I think they're all the same. I know
They
you know.
could be because I think that they're all classified race with the stuff that we order.
Great.
Yeah, I know. And I just know, like, once again, Castelli stuff, the best.
Yeah.
And then also, like, Roth, I think, does the same. And most of those other brands, they do an endurance and then a race cut.
What do you guys think of the shorts with the pockets on the legs?
I have a pair.
Do
I
you
have two
really?
pairs.
I don't think they're that bad. I mean,
Just for
I
gravel?
made fun of them for so long. No, I
think
did.
they're
I wore
terrible.
those across the state.
Really?
That
I'm
makes
telling you,
sense.
it's so simple to just shove stuff in there. It's great. It's like you
I'm
can
fighting.
be a garbage goat.
Yeah.
It's truly actually it is a great thing to have more storage, and it's way easier to access those than it is like.
Oh, yeah.
How's your shoulder getting?
Oh,
back
there's
here?
so many times when I'm
That's-
fatigued after about 80, 90 miles where I'm going like, I can't
I don't
reach
need the bar that
pocket.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like going into a bonk because
Yeah.
you can't actually reach
I
the
could
bar.
crash into a ditch and my phone is in my center pocket for an emergency call. I would die in that ditch. I'd just be like going, flipping around like a fish out of water, just going, oh, fuck it. See, there was my third.
There it is.
there you go.
I used it for a joke.
That's perfect, man. That's tasteful.
Yeah, yeah.
I just, Another death. I don't know. I'm still on the fence of that one. But I see a lot of the 200 milers. The not dirty.
It's Unbound.
Unbound.
You'll probably
guys
want
that.
some for our Palouse trip this spring summer.
Yeah.
When we're doing.
I'm doing an overnight here.
You and I are
to do an overnight.
But we should
we're gonna
set up
document the
some
whole
kind of a thing where it's like there's points for different stuff because I'm sleeping in a hotel.
Oh, okay.
And if you camp, you can have more points.
Yes.
Right.
And there was
but
going to
whoever
be
packs the, I don't know, minimalist gets more points.
No. Overall weight, maybe.
Overall weight, maybe.
Well,
I
think
don't
the
know.
overall weight would come out in the wash. Like, you're faster than me because your bike's 20 pounds lighter.
Yeah, but like if I decide to only bring the chamois that I have on and the jersey because I'm going to wash them in the
hotel sink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll work on this.
I'll just wash mine in the creek outside.
You're going to be so miserable day 2. And
Rubbing outside the creek. Crick. Because that's what my in-laws used to call it. Crick.
Yeah, back in the creek.
Hey, let's go up on Boundary Creek.
It's
what?
Creek.
Boundary Creek? No. Crick.
A creek.
Yeah. I'm going to end the show with a fun. I'm just calling. This is a new thing for 2023. It's the final K. Ooh. The final kilometer. In this case, it's the final question.
Oh gosh.
KWESTION. Nice.
Yeah.
That's a 5 o'clock in the morning stupid thought that pops into my absolutely lunatic brain. So, gentlemen, if you could vastly improve upon a specific area of your cycling life, not just areas of fitness, what would it be and why? A specific area of your cycling life, not just fitness, what would it be?
Interesting.
I will go first while you guys think, or unless you got something to say.
I mean, I would say so we're talking like training and all of that.
Anything. It could be I want to ride more with my wife, or I want to travel more, or I want to try EPO.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would say
hear
like,
it gives a good buzz.
Yeah. If I think about like my cycling life, I'm pretty well balanced because that's what this last year was.
See, I knew you and Jackson were both going to do this.
I'm well balanced in that category. Like I ride with my wife a lot.
Yeah.
Like she's a killer riding partner.
Yeah.
And then going out and hammering with you guys, I'm pretty balanced between like work, getting on the bike, training. But what I would like to improve on for this next year is I want a sprint. I have never I'm a purist in time trial, right? Like you pick your speed and I'll just sit there. Whereas like if you ask me to get away from a group, it's like, God, I hope this is like a 40-person train that I can wind up in the back of. Because like by the time I hit the front, if I've even had that long to warm up, I might be going 3 miles an hour faster than them. Yeah. I'm so slow at a turn of pace. Like 1,200 watts over here.
I used to be a really good sprinter.
Yeah, I'm horrible.
Jackson?
I think. How many can I have? One or two? One? Okay. Let's see. This kind of coincides with my other one. I would like to be a better, like, this is the only way I know how to put it into words, but is a long distance climber.
Okay.
I think, for instance, Valley Chapel is a relatively longer climb for us.
Would you say a mile and a half, 2 miles?
Yeah,
2 miles
something
max?
like that.
Yeah. That is not a like sweet spot area climb for me.
Yeah.
That's too long. And so I think I would like.
God, really? I think that you excel at that.
See, if it's like a shorter climb, but it's kind of steep, I have the power to be able to like shoot up something like that rather than maintain. When we maintain something over, let's say, when David, for instance, when he said 350 watts, I can't maintain that for a super long time, but I could go up a short climb at 800 watts or like what we did earlier in the year, 400 watts and hold that for 5 minutes. That's fine. But that long 350 type of thing is
okay.
Yeah, that
beyond
10-minute plus climb.
Yeah.
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 That's what wins stage races too, though.
It is. I know. Because there's always at least a climb that's that long in them. I can't think of a stage race that there isn't.
Yeah. I can think of about 300 things that I would like to do.
You get one.
In life. Yeah, I mean, what's running through my brain after you guys mentioned it's like riding more with my wife, because my wife and I used to be just monsters on a tandem. We loved it. I could think about my weight obsession. I could think about all that kind of stuff. But you know what? I think this is the year where I get back into my head. And God damn it, I have turned into a lunatic on this podcast. I'm not this messed up, everybody. But I want to gain my my confidence back. My ability to go up to a race start and saying, "Let's rock, let's go."
You're all screwed.
Yeah. I want to get back into that. I need to get back to that mentality, and that is a fight or flight. And I've been flighting. I've been flighty.
Yeah.
The RC3 really put that into perspective. I asked you guys about that. I recorded myself after that race and before and after that race. I did a little kind of confessional in my car and it was just a spiral into psychosis, man. It was just like going, dude, relax. It's a bike race. I'm like, I don't know, man. This is raining. I don't want to be here. Blah, blah, blah. And then after the race, I'm just like going, I don't think I deserve to own a bike. And it's like, wow, dude, stop it. And I sent it to you guys. I remember saying, guys, would this be good content for the show?
Everyone's like, bury that.
I got crickets back. It's just like, don't do
not
that.
share that.
I think it was good for personal use to be able to look back at like
embarrass.
Well, like
remember when you wore those flare jeans, Pat?
Well, kind of, yeah. To be able to look back and be like, I don't want to be there again.
Yeah. Oh God, it was bad. It was bad. Yeah. So.
That's a good goal for next year.
Yeah.
Mental game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I can go out on a ride with you guys and just like go, let's go, man. You know, I'm feeling good today. I'm gonna hammer it out. But then
I'm gonna single you out next year. I'm gonna be like, Pat, you're fooked today. Fooked. I almost dropped it.
You can. I can.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
You can. You guys are fine with it. So
yeah.
All right. Well, let's hope we get some bike races this year, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking at our calendar so far, and after our last announcement is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 events over the entire season. That's depressing as hell. That's not including gravel. That's not including unannounced events. That's not including the stage races. We've got Baker. What's that? Tour. We've got Baker City.
Yep, Baker City
right?
Cycling Classic.
And we've got the one I can't mention because all of our drinks are empty, except Sam's. Tour de Bloom. Yeah. So hopefully, I can't get to many of those stage races because I've got work obligations on those weekends. But so
Jackson
we'll see.
and I'll be there.
Yeah, I'd love it. And I agree with you guys. And the sport. Talking about all this stuff about mental and physical, and I think the camaraderie element comes into it. When I had the endurance guys in here, I could see that they were friends who loved to ride together.
Yeah.
And they claimed they weren't competitive, but when somebody else is feeling bad, they kind of feel good. They admitted it, you know, and we're kind of in the same boat. So I think that's the best part of it. So maybe we don't need to pin a number on. Maybe we just need to go out and beat the shit out of each other. So
yeah.
But sometimes it's fun to beat the shit, not beat the shit out of each other, but use the times you beat the shit out of each other to beat the shit out of somebody else.
Together.
Exactly.
Together.
Yeah.
The more you know. That's it. I'm going to end the show on that. Thanks, you guys.